So this next module is we're going to go back to courage for a little bit, and how do you develop courage? How do you continue to grow courage throughout your life? It's not just, we can't just pull courage out of ourselves and we've attained a certain level. It's a continual process, and as we move through, as we grow, and as our situation changes, then I'm sure our courage changes as well. I know that's definitely been true in my life as I've moved through. As you get older, you feel like you get a little more wiser, and you're able to make better decisions, and I think you start to see people a little bit more for who they really are, because we start as we get older to say, you know what, this is who I am, as good as it's going to get. And so we're not in this deal of trying to impress somebody or trying to make sure that they are trying to think that they think something more about us or something different. And so I think that's a process that we're going to go through. And then our courage looks a little bit different as we get older as well, because it takes courage to face new things and different things than when we were younger. One of the things that he talks about in the book is this idea of learn, do, and be. And he says, first we learn, then we practice, and only then do we become. So every day we get to choose. There's literally hundreds of choices we make every day, whether to go to the downstairs water fountain or whether to get a coffee from Starbucks on the way. And all these little choices that we have add up every single day. And we don't wake up one day and just say, you know what, I'm going to be a coward today. What happens is, over time, we make small decisions that starts to lead us in that direction. And I'm convinced people don't wake up and say, I'm going to make huge mistakes today. It's because the past 2 years ahead of that, they have slowly made some very, very small bad decisions that have gone along that leads them down this path into a bigger bad decision. So practicing courage, we have to practice it every day, not just in the big things, but in the very, very small decisions that we make every day, the very, very small decisions that we do. That might be as small a thing as speaking to the custodial staff in your building. The guys in our building, in our animal science building, make fun of me because I'm always friends with all the staff that work in the building as well. It's unconditional respect. Doesn't matter what your job is, you're still the same person. Just because I'm a professor in there doesn't mean that I'm any better or have any better skills or have any more courage than the guy that's cleaning the bathroom. And the thing that makes it better, though, is I get to practice Spanish, speaking Spanish to those guys, because I don't know anybody else in this town that speaks Spanish. And I really enjoy speaking Spanish. I just don't get to practice. And so if you don't practice very often, it takes a little time to get your brain thinking back in a different language. But those are the things of practice. And if we have important people in town or in the building, what's the non-courageous or the cowardly thing to do is just walk right past those guys and not say anything. But I have started making an effort to introduce people that have influence in this country as they come through our building. I just introduce them to those guys. And one guy's name is Javier, and he doesn't speak very much English, but I can translate for him. And he has been hugely encouraged, to the point that he told me the other day they asked him to move to another building, which would have been an easier job for him, because believe it or not, animal science, we track a lot of junk in there, right? So it's a pretty hard building to take care of, and he had an opportunity to change to another building. He said he wanted to stay in our building because we had the best people in our building of any building he'd ever worked for. So that's part of practicing every day in the little things as we go along. So we're going to encourage you, as you go through and we work through this module, think about the very, very small things that you can display courage in. And that's the practice he's talking about. And as we practice enough, then we just are courageous.